Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to break down the trailer for the first full trailer for Halloween Kills, which is the sequel to the 2018 Halloween. Now, originally this film was supposed to come out in 2020. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it was pushed back a full year. It is going to be coming out October 15th of this year. And it has the returning cast from the first movie, including Jamie Lee Curtis. And also the director, David Gordon Green. So we have basically the entire team from that coming back, like including the writing team, and they added in, I think, a couple cast members here and there to do stuff. But this movie is kind of interesting. Like the thing is that the trailer for it I think might give away a little bit too much, but we'll get into that. Now, the first thing though is that this movie takes place immediately after the end of the 2018 film. So if to begin this trailer, I'm gonna have to talk about the end of that movie. So if people do not want spoilers, you can tune out now. If you don't want spoilers to that movie. Um, so basically, at the end of the 2018 one, Jamie Lee Curtis, her daughter, and her granddaughter all managed to trap Michael Myers in the basement of her house, and they light it on fire so that they will hope that he will just be immolated in the fire and he will die. Now, keep in mind, Michael Myers was also injured pretty severely before that. I know he was shot and part of his hand was blown off. So they kind of he lost, I think, his ring finger and his pinky finger on one of his hands. I can't remember which one. So he was pretty injured already, and then he was stuck in the basement and lit on fire. Now, they did a little bit of a promo, like a teaser trailer, where they showed Jamie Lee Curtis, the daughter and the granddaughter, in the back of a pickup truck, and they're driving away, and they see the fire engines going towards the fire, and they're screaming for them to stop because they want Michael Myers to burn to death. So we immediately start off with the trailer with the house burning, and then we see that apparently Michael escaped by exploiting the firefighters who were coming in and thought that there was somebody trapped down there. So as soon as he escapes from the basement, then he proceeds to grab a scythe, which I'm not really sure where he got that from. I don't remember that from the first film, but whatever, it still has a good effect to it. And he then proceeds to slaughter all the firefighters. Now, this is the start of what we see as there's a lot of kills that they give away in this. There's a lot of actual like money shot kills they give away in this, and some of the ones that they tease. Um, in this opening scene alone, I think he probably kills like 7 or 8 people just between the two firefighters that go into the house and then all the other ones that he massacres with the scythe outside. Out of the ones that we see, though, I think there's only probably about two in that opening scene that we see him actually kill with the scythe, and then the rest will probably be on screen. But regardless, we're shown at least 8 on-screen deaths in the opening, what I would assume would be the opening 10 minutes of the film. So they definitely have to kind of gather that together, and that's a good way to start off a sequel. You do want to start off with like a boom. You want to get people excited and everything like that. And what's better than seeing Michael Myers slaughter people? But it is a very high body count, especially for a Michael Myers movie. You'd see something like this more along the lines with like a Jason film. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying. So then we go to these like intercuts where Jamie Lee Curtis is in the hospital with a knife wound, and that's intercut with Michael Myers just proceeding to work his way through the community again. There's a couple of pretty good kills that they mix in there. There's one where these two people actually they show both of their deaths, which I thought was kind of surprising. One of them is there's a man, he gets his head racked against the wall a bunch of times. Michael Myers shoots his hand through a window and grabs him and keeps beating the crap out of him. And then after he's knocked out, then he takes a fluorescent light bulb, breaks it, and stabs it through a woman's neck. And again, we do get the money shot, although we only get a little tiny piece of it. And then after that, it appears that maybe the man wakes up or something, and he just drags him over to the counter and stabs him a few times. That's like actually very cleverly edited and intercut with Jamie Lee Curtis stabbing herself in the leg with what I can assume is either painkillers or adrenaline or something along those lines, because she has just been stabbed in the stomach and she is an old woman. So you kind of have that going on. But then the other thing is that they allude to a few other things. There's a callback to Halloween 3, which I thought was kind of odd, where they have these dead kids that appear to be. There's one that's hanging from a jungle gym, and there's two more that are on like one of those like tilt-a-whirl things, and basically they all have on the silver shamrock masks from Halloween 3, which I thought was kind of it's an interesting callback to that movie, but nobody ever calls back to Halloween 3 unless they're doing it as a joke, because that movie is, even though it's an interesting movie, it's not a Halloween movie. Um, and then the other thing too that they kind of call back to is Halloween 4, when they have the hillbilly mob. I guess you can kind of say that in 2 a little bit as well, but in uh, part 4, at the end of the movie, basically like the whole town gangs up into this hillbilly mob and they go to hunt down Michael Myers. And it appears that that is also what happens here, where they show a scene where it looks like there are people that are, fed up with it or whatever, and they one of them grabs a baseball bat, and they form a lynch mob, and they're going to go out and they're going to go kill Michael Myers. At the same time, Jamie Lee Curtis keeps saying that, the more that he kills, the more he transcends, quote unquote. In other words, the more he becomes not human. So I don't know if this is also them going into like the demon Michael Myers, like the one that actually has supernatural powers and can't be killed. Because the other thing too is during the trailer, and I maybe if you freeze frame, you can tell in some of the scenes, but I can't tell if his fingers are still missing from the end of the previous film, because that would be an interesting little thing if like he can do the Jason thing, I guess, and like regenerate or do whatever. But or if it's maybe it was just like the editor had an off day. But regardless, if that would be interesting. I want to see the consistency in that because again, these movies are supposed to take place concurrently. Um, so the other thing too that they're kind of advertising with this, which I think is kind of stupid when you've already greenlit another film after this, is the evil ends tonight. The whole thing about like this is the end for Michael Myers, when they actually have an entire other movie that they already filmed that is supposed to come out next year. That was actually originally supposed to come out this year, and when they moved back the first film, they had to move back the second one as well. So Halloween Ends, which is supposed to be the last film in this in the Blumhouse trilogy of Halloween movies, is supposed to come out next year. So to say that it evil ends tonight and all that stuff, I wouldn't put that in the advertising, because that's definitely false advertising, because they're making another one, it's already been made. So that it's kind of weird for a tagline. Maybe you would go with like something like Michael, the whole thing like Michael comes back or something like that. They've used that line before too. The rest of the night he came home, I think, was the tagline for Halloween 2, the original one. Um, and also, I don't know if they're going to go into any of the stuff involving Michael Myers' connection to Laurie, because in the first film with the Blumhouse ones, they basically say that like, oh no, he's not actually related to her. That was just some weird rumor. They could go back on that and retcon it. I think that might be dumb if they do it, because it kind of ruins a little bit of the nuance of this universe, so they wanted to stay away from that. But I'm also kind of interested in that. There is apparently also a few scenes that they kind of tease in this. There's a scene where the granddaughter is fighting with him, and he has like a butcher knife, and he's turned the butcher knife on her, and he's about to stab her with it, and she's daring him to stab her with it, and that type of thing. So I mean, they cut away. They have like a little jerk, and then they cut away. And you don't really see the knife go in or anything like that. But what I think that might be is because usually when Michael Myers kills people, it's just like, because he has some inhuman strength. He just, has a little tiny hand movement, and the rest of his body doesn't move. He's not really like, he doesn't really move like a human. He moves weirdly. And in that scene, his whole body jerked forward when he was stabbing the knife. So I have a funny feeling that maybe in that scene there's something that happens where like he gets shot in the back or something, and they cut out the noise for the trailer to make it look like he stabbed. Because again, that's a very clear red herring to put in a trailer where you're going to kill off a major character. I wouldn't put it past them. They could definitely do it because again, they don't give a shit as Blumhouse. But I could see that definitely just being a red herring that they stuck in the trailer just to get people excited. So you have that whole scene, and like I said, there's a lot of bodies that they do show. There's some of the kills that they show, and if that's a small fraction of the death in this movie, then that's fine. You can include if it's an appropriate amount. See, the problem with it is that I don't know how. And we won't know until the film comes out. I don't know how many bodies are in this movie. So based on the ones in the trailer, if there's a bunch more in the movie that are even more outrageous and insane, then I'm not going to be disappointed. But if they crammed all the gore and stuff into the trailer and they just, they wanted to put that out, then I think that that's a problem because now you've just given away the money shots for the movie. There's no reason for people to go in anymore if they've seen all the good kills. It's kind of like, giving away the end of a movie in a trailer, kind of like what Batman v Superman did, something like that. But again, they are toting that this movie has an extremely high body count. So take it with a grain of salt. But as usual, I'm going to link the trailer below, and I want to know what your opinion is. Do you like the trailer? Do you not like the trailer? Are you excited for this movie? Did you like the 2018 version? Did you not like it? Put your thoughts in the comments below. As usual, I like to read them. Hit the bell for notifications. Hit the like button. Subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?